me shift the conversation now to our next speaker, who will talk about Pan-Africanism and Ubuntu philosophy. I am shifting this to Dr. Aimable-Andre Dufatanye. Please, Honorable Aimable, let me unmute you here. I'm trying to, okay, there you go. Mablo, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you very much. Do you hear me? Thank you very much, Professor Apollos Okuchi Noawa.
Dr. Mablo, you are not on video.
Do you? I'm not. Just you don't.
I'm hearing you, but I know I thought it was a mistake, but it's okay. You know, if you can't.
No, I can just put a video. I thought I put it, but I'm not sure.
No, at least people need to know who is talking to them. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I tried, but let me see if I manage. Can you see me now?
Oh, yeah. Yes, we can see you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Just I was saying that. Yeah, thank you very much for this interesting introduction and explanation on the concept of Pan-Africanism. Sometimes when we talk about African problems of poverty, problems linked to the lack of respect of human rights, problems linked to neocolonialism, or linked to dictatorship, people tend to say that the solution is Pan-Africanism. But sometimes Pan-Africanism is just like a kind of world which is empty of sense. So it's a good thing that you've explained very well what Pan-Africanism is. So me, I'm gonna try to defend the thesis that Pan-Africanism, to become a real movement, needs to be supported by a solid philosophy, a common philosophy. So Pan-Africanism, to be an effective movement, needs Africans to be aware that they share some common values, a vision of world, and certain, let's say, moral values or other values which are specific to their culture and to their way of seeing the world in which we are. For my part, I think that common philosophy to African societies can be designated as the philosophy of Ubuntu. The philosophy of Ubuntu is often summed up by the sentence known around the world as "I am because we are," or we can put it as "we are, therefore I am." The concept is in vogue on the African continent, popularized by two eminent figures that you know, Desmond Tutu and Nelson Mandela. It's a concept we even find in the Constitution of South Africa. So even you probably remember that even the President Barack Obama referred to it during a tribute speech to Mandela on the occasion of his funeral in 2013. This word Ubuntu, explained, the former president of the United States, says how much we only fully exist in sharing and caring relationships with others. The semantic plurality of Ubuntu carries and explains its diffusion beyond philosophical circles. To unfold its exact meaning, commentators play on the Cartesian cogito, of which it would be an alternative. You know, in the Westerns, sometimes they do say, I think, then I am. So in Africa, in the philosophy of Ubuntu, we are much more focused on this factor of being together. The nature of being together determines that we are as persons. So a person is a person through other persons. And that's very, very important. So it's it's something very important to know. If we do not share that common philosophy, it will be very difficult to attain or to reach the unity or solidarity. We should also know that Ubuntu is not just only a concept which refers to human beings. Sometimes in some part of Africa, Ubuntu refers also to the fact that we have values, not only ethical values, but a conception or a philosophy about our environment. We have the respect of the environment in which we live. There is also, let's say, a comprehension about the nature, the relationship we should have with animals and the whole environment in which we live. So in that sense, the notion of community is understood not only limited to human society, but it extends to the natural world and to all living things. So solidarity between humans as well as between humans and the cosmos, which is the new concept of sustainable development. If we don't talk, we cannot talk about sustainable development if we don't include animals and some other living beings. So, as you can see, Pan-Africanism is a concept which is very important, but also we need a kind of philosophy which is proper to Africans. And those two concepts, in my mind, are linked, and it's thanks to that connection of those two concepts that we might have like a real movement, an effective movement of Pan-Africanism. So I want to be very long. It's just, it was just an introduction to that connection between those two concepts. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Dufatanye, for that contribution on the relationship or the connection between Pan-Africanism and the African Ubuntu philosophy. Again, please, if you have any question for Dr. Dufatanye, try and note it so that once we have two more presenters, and I think then it will be an open conversation. So